found out that there's this movie called Jujitsu. Jujitsu.
Oh, Jujitsu. Okay.
Yeah. And it stars Nicolas Cage, who is a jujitsu master who is teaching this like military guy how to use jujitsu because there's an alien that has come to Earth, and he has chosen this guy to fight against. And if he doesn't use jujitsu to fight him, then the alien will get pissed off and destroy the whole world. So he has to train. He has to train in the art of jujitsu so he can fight this alien, or else the alien will kill the entire world.
That's a lot of that sounds stressful. One.
Yeah.
What year did that come out?
Last year.
What?
Yeah, November. Yeah. Let me think. Yeah, it was last year. Let me just. It's right up my alley.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu 2020, Jesus. It has, on IMDb, it has a 2.9 out of 10 stars.
Oh, that's unfortunate. And right up your alley.
Also right up my alley. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, good. Nicolas Cage's character's name is Wily.
Like W-Y-L?
Yeah. I-E.
Like
the Wile E. Coyote.
Huh.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is fucking rad.
Mm-hmm. Oh no. Why?
Yeah. When Jake Barnes, sorry. Okay, when Jake Barnes, a master jiu-jitsu fighter, refuses to face Brax, an indomitable alien creature, the future of humanity hangs in the balance. Injured and suffering from severe amnesia, Jake is captured by a military squad unequipped to fight the merciless intruder who has descended upon the planet. Jake is rescued by Wiley, an ancient order of jiu-jitsu fighters who must help him recover his memory and gain his strength in order to band together and defeat Brax in the epic battle that will determine the fate of mankind. We have to.
What, watch this movie?
Yeah, that's we fine. Have to watch this. I mean, the thing I love most about it is not that they have to use jujitsu to defeat the alien. It's the fact that the alien is like, hey, listen, if you don't fight me in jujitsu, I'm destroying the planet. That is amazing.
It can only be jujitsu, and
like it's the alien's choice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all about what you want, right? It can't always be what humans want.
Right.
And I can't wait for Nicolas Cage to continue his legacy of playing white savior. Right. In all of these great films. I mean, he's just right up there with like Matt Damon and Tom Cruise and
it's gonna be so bad.
That and my body is I can feel it physically preparing for this. And I'm okay.
This review says, thought this was going to be really good for a 2020 movie, but it's only just above average.
So it's amazing, is what he's saying.
Yeah. Oh my God. He gave it 6 stars. I mean, yeah.
Sweet.
Oh my God. It made $99,000.
Oh.
I'm so scared to learn what the budget was for this movie.
Did he produce it?
I don't see him on the list here. Okay. Let me see. Let's see full cast. No, it's directed and written by Dmitry Lagothitis. Yeah. Produced. Like it does kind of. No, I don't see him on here as producer.
Okay.
Well,
I'm shocked.
Yeah. But also, like, he doesn't have any money, right? That's why he keeps taking on these projects.
Oh, I forgot. Is that why he did that Netflix thing too? The
swear
words?
Yeah. I think that's why he does all of these movies, like all these B-list movies. It's just he takes whatever job he possibly can because he had so much money and he spent it on everything. Yeah. He bought like a real dinosaur skull. He bought like
Action Comics #1.
Right. Like he just bought like millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff and then spent all of his money, and then like now he's in like massive debt and he's just trying to get his money back, which is crazy.
It really does suck when the last great thing you did was The Magician's Assistant. Oh.
He is going to be playing Joe Exotic.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's coming out. It doesn't have a year. He does so many projects. You know, he's already done two movies this year.
It is March, not even the end of.
Or maybe not. Let me see. Let me see when these come out. This one, January 31st. This one, Willy's Wonderland is also already out because I am familiar with that one. That's the like Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff, and it's just Nicolas Cage going crazy on all these like ghost animatronics. Okay. Oh, fantastic.
I roll my eyes, but I'm gonna watch all of these movies.
Yeah, there's so many movies he puts out every year. I mean, 2020 obviously was a slow year because it was 2020. Yeah. 2019, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. 2018, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. 17 was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. At least 6 movies a year, it looks like.
Girl's busy. She's a working girl.
Half of these movies I just have never heard of before.
Oh, well, I got a lot of... It's like, now I got a whole list I gotta update.
Do you know he did a movie with Elijah Wood?
When? Where? Wait, I think I've seen the movie poster for this.
Is it on Prime? I can't remember what it is.
Ooh,
I do also need to talk about Army of One, which is very important. I haven't seen it yet, but it's still a very important movie to me.
Okay.
After a personal visit by God himself, the eccentric construction worker Gary Faulkner takes the decision to embark on an adventure in the Badlands of Pakistan to bring Al-Qaeda's leader Osama bin Laden to justice.
Okay.
So Nicolas Cage...
Freedom fighter as well.
Nicolas Cage plays this character named Gary Faulkner, who... I believe this is based off of a true story as well. Obviously, he didn't go and take down Osama bin Laden, but this guy, I think, is real. And he got a visit from God, and he told him to go and kill Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
And God in this movie is played by Russell Brand.
Oh, shit. I thought you were going to say Morgan Freeman.
Russell Brand is God.
Oh, wow. Oh, shit. This was a 26... Why have I never seen this?
That's because most of his movies you've just never heard of or ever seen, and they're just, like, wild like this.
Okay, I'm into it. Okay, we have to set aside, like, a whole night now. I mean,
Yes.
apart from what we're doing this evening for real, but like, okay, it's just gonna be a Nick Cage night. Okay, writing these down. Hello and welcome to the Full Volume Podcast.
Oh, we're gonna start now, just like that.
Well, Josh continues to add to the list of Nick Cage films that you and I and everyone in the world should be watching.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say hello. I am your host, G.I. Jolie, and today I am joined by
Joshua Murr-VELL. And we're going to be talking about the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier today. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, Harvey Brent has taken another break this weekend. She is a busy, busy girl.
Mm-hmm.
And so Josh is here to fill in his very petite, beautiful shoes. I think that this one is going to be a weird one. I mean, we've already started by not talking about it at all. I mean, that's usually how Full Volume
kind of goes, right?
And ends and goes. I honestly, this show is, there's like two things about it that I love.
Mm-hmm.
One, the entire cast is gorgeous.
Right.
And we spent the entire last episode of Full Volume talking about that. But two, it's just a really great break from the cerebral gymnastics that were WandaVision. That was WandaVision.
Right.
Like, I don't feel like I'm sitting here trying to solve a mystery.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem pretty cut and dry at this point. Like, it is kind of a mystery who this person is, but I think they're just kind of hiding their identity, this, like, bad guy that was introduced. But, yeah, it's definitely a lot less intense than WandaVision. I mean, even with those, like, first few episodes where it was in black and white, it still was like, what the hell's going on? Yeah. Where this one, it's kind of like, okay, it feels like a Marvel property again. Like it's kind of back to the basics of the MCU.
Yeah, and knowing that it was supposed to come before WandaVision, I'm not upset that it didn't come first. It doesn't feel like it's at a place coming now. What I really enjoy currently, and we've not decided on a format, so we're just gonna talk. It's just gonna be whatever comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it's a lot about their characters. And I hope that it continues to be character driven in this way, because these are two characters that I feel in a gigantic ensemble film, like all of the Avengers films, that they were like underserved. Like
I feel like the last time we really got the chance to like sit down with Sam was his first introduction in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and like I don't know if it's like my old age, my advanced age, but I don't remember a lot of the Winter Soldier. But I really don't remember. There isn't anything concrete like that it told me about the Falcon's character or Sam.
Right. I remember he was a soldier, and he was trained with the wingsuit when we see him, because it's like a military thing. And he is like helping out other like veterans and like kind of like bringing them back into society and kind of like helping them go back to a normal life. I think that's where we meet him, and it's kind of a nice parallel to Steve, because he is also trying to go back into fit back into society, but in a completely different way. He was just asleep for 70 years, which goals, honestly.
Right. If I could lie down now and sleep for 70 years.
I think I'd do it.
Yeah, I would. Well, if it was 1942 and I could lie down and fall asleep for 70 years and then wake up later, I would do it. Now, I would be afraid to wake up in like a glacier.
Oh, the glaciers will be gone in 70 years. You don't have to worry about that.
So the opposite. in the deep blue sea.
Right.
Which, yeah, I have like a really irrational fear of deep water, dark water as well. So
maybe not a great idea.
No, like my worst fear, like when they just announced that there might be like a tsunami in Japan after that gigantic 7.2 earthquake, and it's like, that's my worst nightmare, is dying in water. Anyway, to take a less dark turn.
Yeah, let's get back to talking about these cool superheroes.
The joys about sleeping are
right.
You feel refreshed. Mm-hmm. Hopefully my muscles don't atrophy to the point where I can't walk again. But
yeah,
I think that might have been an issue. But yeah, sleeping for 70 years after the last 2 years of my life would be a treat.
You know what though? You know when like you go down for a nap?
Yeah.
And you wake up and you just like you napped for too long and now you're even more tired and you feel worse than you do. Yeah. I'd be worried about that happening after 70 years. Cause like a nap has got to be 20 minutes.
Right.
Do you think I could just put like a 20-minute egg timer on my like cryo tube and just, lay down for about 20 minutes?
Do you know what I find sort of solves that problem is if you don't eat like carbs before that nap, it happens less. Also a timer, but you'd have to like figure out what the equivalent, you know how like they say that you should be in 30 minute, you should sleep in 30-minute intervals to avoid that if you're going to sleep longer than 20 minutes. So you'd have to figure out what that equivalent is in years. And then set your cryo chamber for that.
Okay, right. So you would take the 70 years and then just divide. Like if you need like an 8-hour sleep, but you only want to nap for 20 minutes, you would just figure out what that like ratio is for the 70 years. Is what you're saying?
You know, I'm not great at math or time, apparently. So yeah, yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Do you know what? That would suck. I agree. That's the worst part about napping. And that's always like the dice roll. When you lie down on the couch and you're like really tired and maybe it's like 8 p.m. And you're like, okay, if I sleep now, there's a chance I'll sleep until tomorrow or that I'll wake up at 1 a.m. and feel like shit. Or be wide awake. And it's usually that you're wide awake and then you fall asleep again at 4 a.m. And then you wake up at 6 when you normally get up, and you feel like absolute trash again. Yeah. So
I feel like I'd like the cryo sleep because I'm such a light sleeper too.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. I just have a tough time sleeping or like falling asleep. Even when I do, like anything will just wake me up. Oh
God.
So I'd love that. Are you the same, or are you like deep sleeper?
Not only am I a deep sleeper, but I am a full snore. Like, this body enjoys rest. I will fall asleep anywhere. My parents would take me to weddings, and I would fall asleep at the dinner table. Like, while they danced and drank.
I'm actually the same. I can fall asleep anywhere, but I'm a light sleeper. Like, I love sleeping in cars. I think that's like the deepest sleep I could ever possibly have is in a car. I love it.
Yeah. And I don't know if I've been conditioned that way as well, but like all of the women in my family are the same, where if it's like 10-minute drive, out like a light. I could be fully awake and I'd be right asleep. And you're right. I totally agree with you. And I've never actually thought about it, but driving in a car has been some of the deepest sleep I've ever had. I don't own a car. And now it's gotten to the point where I don't own a car just because it is better for the environment, and I'm able
And also,
to
so you're always in the
whatever.
passenger seat so you can sleep.
Exactly. And sleeping on the Greyhound has been just like the chef's kiss of sleeping for me.
That's how I'm like in planes.
Really?
I would fly a lot to come home when I was living in Halifax for the visits, and I got so I'm also like a very easily stressed out person when it comes to planes. Not because I don't like flying, it's the getting to the airport on time. It's like finding the right place. I've got to wait. It's, oh my God, did I properly check my bag? Am I going to have too much in it? Or are they not going to? So I get so worked up about like the buildup that once I'm on the plane, I pass out immediately. I'm like, the stress has taken me over that the second I have a moment to sit, I'm just out. I got to the point where what I would do is I would fall asleep before we would take off, and I would buckle my seatbelt in, and I'd stick my thumbs into the belt and like pull it up and fall asleep. That way when the stewardess would come by and ask me or tell me to like buckle up, she wouldn't have to wake me, or they wouldn't have to wake me up to check to see if I was buckled. I would do that and just go to sleep and wake up when the plane is landing.
Bravo, sir.
Yeah.
You have cracked the code.
Yeah.
I've only been on an airplane a handful of times, but that's hilarious. That was my fear. It's like, okay, but I can't fall asleep right now because they're gonna come around and wake me, and or they're gonna come check my ticket. So it's like I'd always on the Greyhound, I solved that. I'd always print out my ticket and sit with it under my foot on the seat beside me if there was enough room on the bus. Mm-hmm. But that was the one thing that I couldn't figure out how to do on the airplane, is when they come around and they have you check it for them so they're not touching you. It's like, how I can't fall asleep. I feel stupid.
Yeah, you just like you put your thumbs in like that, kind of like a cowboy, and you just sit there like this. You know, I don't even need to recline my seat. Nothing. I fall asleep like this. Yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm thinking about it right now. I'm thinking about how good it feels. Okay. Speaking of good feelings.
Yeah, we should maybe talk about this show, huh? That's kind of what the podcast is about.
Right, maybe we should just cover everything that gave us good feelings about the show. Because, to be honest, there are a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad feelings, though, too. I will say...
We can go over those too. And do you want to go over bad first and then good?
Yeah, let's circle back to the good.
Okay. Yeah, well, on a good note.
That was maybe one of the most heartbreaking scenes in any MCU movie or property, when Bucky goes to I want to say, I can't remember the Asian man's,
Mr.
like the old
Nakajima?
Asian Nakashima. I wanted to say Nakamori, and I was like, no, that's the tower from Die Hard. I'm almost positive. Anyways, it was so heartbreaking. And then like when they're in the restaurant and it's like a close up of like the mochi roll, it's so like, and the fact that Bucky did this to him and he didn't realize, and he's trying to make amends, but he doesn't know how. And he's like built this relationship now with this person that he's done something horrible to, but he can't figure out the way to tell him. It's like, yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, and then
yeah,
just when he thinks that he's gonna do it, like when he's on the date with the girl who works at the sushi restaurant, because Mr. Nakajima is the best wingman in the world, and just straight up is like, he wants to date you. My young friend here wants to date you. One, super cute, the best interaction ever. so I don't know I can't remember what it was they were talking about, but it made him want to atone or tell the truth. And in his mind, he's like, no, we're friends. He deserves an explanation, because part of that really, really heartbreaking scene was the fact that his death is unexplained to his father. He just knows that his son went to a conference and died.
Right, and it was sudden, and it wasn't his fault, and it was just happenstance. That's all that he knows, but it hasn't sat right with him. Like, he knows that something weird happened to his son.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
and then,
yeah, it's tough.
And I don't, I mean, it's played for laughs when she's like, how old are you? He's like, 108.
Right.
Does Mr. Nakajima know how old Bucky actually is? Like, did he tell him?
I don't know, because I don't even know if he knows that he's the Winter Soldier. Because I think that, well, I don't know, it's kind of weird, because in some ways it's kind of unknown that he is, like, Bucky Barnes is still alive. Because I mean, I'm the general public, I guess, knows who Bucky Barnes is, but only because of, like, the museums about Captain America.
Yeah.
But they don't know that he was also kind of frozen and then kept alive and, like, thawed out to be the Winter Soldier and be this new, like, super soldier for Hydra. So I don't think the general public realizes it's the same person.
Well, shit. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, it's like maybe there is some element of sleuthing and mystery solving that is to be done with this show, but, like, in a different way. In the way that you'd be like, in the way that CSI would bring up, like, an actual cold case,
right,
and would continue to sleuth through the script.
I'm
That's
looking up now.
Poor example, but do you know what? Now that you bring that up too, is that he had this list. One that was both terrible and amazing. That they've written that kind of a relationship in for Bucky.
Mm-hmm.
It gives him more depth, because we already know his background. He killed Tony's parents, and that came to light.
Mm-hmm.
So, to kind of give us more insight into, like, you know, these are the people that he killed and these are the lives he's affected, they also show us this list that Bucky is very obviously keeping of people who he has to seek out and, like, atone.
Right.
And that, when I saw the list, when they flash it, the next name, it says 1 Nakajima, 2 Holbein. It's like, great. People are going to sit there and spin their wheels about who Holbein is, or who the rest of the names on the list are. And sure enough, there's, like, a screen cap of the list, and people are like, these are these people. It's like, who cares? Who cares? We just know that he's doing it, and that, like, that's...
Do you think
that's
Mephisto's on the list?
Oh.
Do
you think Doctor Strange will be appearing?
Ooh, he might. Actually, I was surprised to see Rhodes
on the list.
I didn't. Yeah, no. In the show. Yeah, I was. I didn't realize he was going to be making an appearance, and I assume he won't really. He's not going to be like a regular reoccurring character. But it was kind of nice to see him, and it would make sense for him to be there.
Yeah.
With Sam during that day. Yeah.
Yeah, because technically, and that's another thing too, is that technically this has happened right after the events of the Unblip.
Yeah, after Endgame.
Yeah, which I thought was 10 years. Like, that they had been gone for 10 whole years. They were only gone for apparently 5.
Right, 5 or 6 years, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So this happens a little bit in that, right after Endgame.
Right, because I think when did Infinity War come out?
You know, this isn't supposed to be.
So
like
I think it's 2018.
Yeah.
Right, it was 2018 that Infinity War came out, and it's supposed to be 5 years because Endgame takes place in 2023. So that would be 5 years. So I'm assuming that this Falcon and Winter Soldier takes place in 2023.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, back to this whole list thing. Well, that's okay. That's fine. I just wanted to set the stage for where this happens in the grand chronology that is the Avengers universe.
Right.
So yeah, it happens directly after.
Yeah, I think this is like the first thing that happens after Endgame, because I think even WandaVision takes place like a little bit later too. Maybe along like the same timeline as this, but it's definitely a little bit after because Wanda does some like searching for Vision and stuff, and then she goes to the house and everything. So I don't know. Maybe it's the same time then.
I wonder. Yeah, do you know it's about 9 days after? Because they said she. Wait, no, sorry. The Westview shows up 9 days after.
Really?
Yeah, she shows up at S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, SWORD.
Oh, okay.
Looking for the body parts, and then 9 days later, or like Vision's like, I'm only 9 days old or whatever.
Right.
Okay, so it's really close because she comes back and immediately is looking for everybody. Well, let's just give it like 30, like a 30-day window.
Yeah. That does make sense because after she leaves the S.H.I.E.L.D., the SWORD facility, she goes to the house right away and then creates Vision, and then that's where like the first episode starts. Yeah. And it's a 9 episodes, so.
Yeah, and it could be any number of days from when she reappeared because she went with the blip. Who knows? So yeah, these two storylines running probably the same year, probably concurrently. I think it's kind of weird that she didn't immediately go back to the Avengers, but this is not about WandaVision.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's also strange too because like, well, I guess the Avengers don't exist anymore though.
Yeah,
because
they don't. Tony's gone. Cap is a million years old. Oh, Cap is dead.
Yeah,
at the start of this show.
Well, no, he's alive technically. He's just an old man. It's just everybody thinks he's dead.
At that conference where they were doing that dedication, or where Sam is donating the shield to the Smithsonian. Right. The way that they're talking about him, it sounds like has died. Well,
it's because like he's just like old, right? Because he went back in time and he stayed and lived out his life. So this entire time in the MCU, theoretically, there's been 2 Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Right, but so I guess he's still technically alive, but they're acting like he is dead because he's no longer Captain America. So I think that they're kind of helping him out by saying that he's no longer with us, so he could just live out his life as Steve.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Okay.
I think at least that's what I got from it.
No,
unless he died in between Endgame and Falcon and Winter Soldier from old age or whatever, but
probably not.
Probably not. But okay. Do we want to talk about the ending then, since we're talking about Falcon giving away the shield?
Well, as long as it falls into the category of things that we didn't like about this damn episode, then yeah.
I think this is. I was so angry. I was like, I was so. I don't know. I feel like I should have definitely seen this coming because I saw, I think like a promo or like a poster or something with John Walker in like the Cap costume. That's like the new Captain America's John Walker. So I guess I should have seen it coming, but I was still so shocked and like angry.
Yeah. I didn't think that they would do it this soon. Like, right at the end of this episode.
And like I was also not thinking like, oh, they're gonna screw over Sam. I was just like, yeah.
There's like a museum to all of this fun shit. Sam gives the Smithsonian the damn shield, and the Smithsonian turns around and
the government maybe steps in and like takes the shield from the museum and uses the original Cap vibranium shield to create their own Captain America now that Steve Rogers is no longer with us.
Yeah, which is stupid. I don't understand the logistics of it. Because it's like, was the super soldier project was it a government thing or strictly like a secretive American military thing?
That's a good point. I guess it all depends on how much the government knew about it and how much like the military, it was like kind of, I don't know. I mean, I guess they're one and the same though, government and military. Like it's,
they're not totally autonomous. Like they're not all okay. And that's what kind of bothered me. Is like, oh, so they just put like some unpowered white guy in a suit and gave him Cap's shield. Like,
we don't know that he's unpowered.
I bet he is.
I maybe, but we also get the hint, and we're pretty much told that the bad guys, the Flag Smashers, have some sort of super soldier serum as well.
Oh, when do we? What?
Well, the guy. So the we also learn through Falcon and, oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. He's one of these soldiers that helps Falcon out to save the soldier that's being kidnapped at the opening of the show. Oh. I can't remember this kid's name. He's from the comics. He is a comics character, and then he actually eventually does become Falcon.
Okay.
Oh my God, what is his name?
Goes into the crowd?
Yeah.
Oh no, I feel terrible. Okay, Falcon.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he knows about this like secret group that is trying to kind of he's like using terrorism as an excuse to unify the world and to destroy all borders. And that's why they call themselves the Flag Smashers, which is the most like ridiculous, stupid comic booky name you could possibly think of for like anti like a terrorist group. Yeah. So when he is like when he goes to this like Flag Smashers like meeting, he puts on the mask and kind of like blends in with the crowd, and it turns out that they invited all of these people into one group to put on the same mask. That way they can rob a bank and get away with it, and the police would be confused because there's so many people running back and forth. And what seems like the leader of this group is a super soldier. At least that's what I get from it. He kicks the one police officer, and he goes flying and hits a telephone pole and then falls to the ground. And then he also jumps off of like a 3 or 4 story building, lands on his feet, and is completely fine. And then takes out that soldier in like one punch, pretty much. Yeah. So I'm assuming he's super soldier, and then Sam also kind of goes like, let's keep this between you and I think that I'm worried that he's kind of maybe somebody dangerous. He kind of hints that there's something weird going on with him. And then in the end credits, we see these like vials, and they're almost kind of shaped like bullets possibly. Yeah. And they have like the blue liquid in them from the super soldier serum. Yeah. And we also know that Baron Zemo is in this show. And last time we see him is in Civil War, when he's creating new super soldiers to fight the Avengers. So
did Ultron come before that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Oh, and that would explain why they have Daniel Brühl in the series. So that's probably going to be your bigger target. Lieutenant Torres is the man's name.
Right.
Well, there's still something that, like, amongst all of these things happening, I don't know if I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun, and it is just the first episode. I think that this was the show I was the least excited about, I think, of all of the shows that were announced. But I think it surprised me at how much I liked it and how, like, ready I was for it. I didn't realize that I was, like, looking for this show and this kind of continuation with these characters, because they're so fun. They're such a great dynamic together, and we don't really get to see them, like, shine on their own. They've always only really been Cap's sidekick. So I'm really excited to have kind of like this buddy cop adventure with the two of them kind of solving this super soldier mystery.
Yeah. And do you know what? Excuse me. Do you know how I don't know? Okay. So the trailer sets up the whole partnership where we see them immediately together, and there's comedy and there's side glances and there's like a couple jokes. This episode, I thought would give us more of how they came together. I'm not upset that it didn't. I just, again, like you said, I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, because it shows us their lives separate first.
Right.
I could have, you know what, like most shows that have like a larger overarching plot of treachery, they gave us a little bit of what is to come, or what they'll be up against. But I liked that they didn't immediately get the two of them together, other than the fact that they've been working together through the Avengers. But we do get to see their lives. So, and then in that way, we get to see Sam's life, which aside from all of the training that you see him doing, that we had talked about earlier, and that you had mentioned earlier, is that he has brothers and sisters, and he has a family legacy that is that he is part of, and like that. There's two things about that, and this falls under the category of things I hate and things I love. Things I love is that is his story, that they're giving us this story, and that it's a really, really, it may not be important in the long run, but it's important to the character, and it makes Sam who he is. But two, the way that they're introducing it. And I just read an article about how, because we as part of Spidercast, we talk about comics a lot, and we talk about the language of storytelling and what's over expository and what's great. And the thing that really irked me, because we don't know a lot about Sam's background, is that the entire conversation between him and his sister was just expository. Like, she would say, her character would say things that the other character, they know, but because I'm reading it or I'm listening to it, I don't know, and it's meant as a vehicle to serve you information about their lives, the conversation, rather than an actual conversation. Namely, the conversation that they were having when she was like, well, you know, before you left, this is like me and my brothers and sisters. It was actually an article, I think, about Bridgerton. Let me just get it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. There's like notes in the back for book clubs. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. When two characters have a conversation, but they're clearly talking to the reader and not to each other. So when Sam and his sister are talking to each other, they're talking to me, and they're not talking to each other. And it happened when they were explaining what happened to Sam, that he went while he was away, what happened to the family. She was telling me in a conversation, I hate that. And that is, to me, is what felt very, aside from the action, felt very marvelly about everything. Is that they do that a lot, because comics do that a lot, and it's a real travesty that they feel the need to do that.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, I feel like they could have just left it at, you know, they need to sell the boat, and then them arguing against that. Yeah. Like arguing about that. I feel like we could have kind of gotten the idea that, I mean, even having their parents' names on the side of the boat, we know that it's their parents and it's been in the family. So yeah. I can see where you're coming from for sure, where it kind of feels like they're feeding you that information rather than it being just like a part of the story.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be like, because I knew that this, knowing that this was supposed to come before WandaVision, I don't want to make comparisons, but I feel like it lends sort of like a less than sophisticated quality, where WandaVision seemed really fully realized and thought out, and like it went through a billion drafts, but that one conversation was enough to knock me, like, be like, okay, this is like, sorry, it was enough to make me compare it to WandaVision, which I didn't want to do, which was, okay, the writing is not as good, the directing is, it's an action show,
right,
so, and it's not to say that things that are a little more artful or a little more experimental are better, but I mean, it's not making a great case for it. So I don't know, if it weren't for the characters and them showing us more about the characters in these weird ways,
right,
aside from the dialogue, I don't think that this show would have been necessary.
Yeah, I think that this show is really going to be still about Captain America, and like it's like his two like last surviving family members and what they do after he's gone, and what do you do with somebody like that is now out of your life, and like now that the Avengers are gone and this like huge fight that, you know, has been kind of building up for years is now just gone, and what do you do with your life afterwards? So yeah, I'm curious. I feel like this is really just like a first step into the, I mean, and it for sure is just like the first step into what this show is going to be. Where WandaVision, I feel like, because it started off right in the 60s, you're like pushed into the middle of the story. And I wonder if, because of the way that WandaVision was told, where it kind of starts in like the middle and then goes, and then there's the episode where they go back and kind of do all of the backstory stuff, and that's also the issue, like the story that you had a little bit more issues with as well, and it's that kind of going back and describing and saying exactly what happened in the past. So I'm curious that now that they've kind of set everything up, maybe it'll be smooth sailing after this.
Yes. Yeah.
I hope so, at least.
Yeah. I hope that the whole issue of, do you know what? No, I get it now. Now that I'm thinking about it, is that they had to get these two together somehow, and I think that's the unresolved feeling in my mind, is that I still don't know how they come together, and it's like, oh, okay, well, whatever it is at Zemo and the Flag Smashers, it is a stupid name. Oh my god, like coming out of my mouth, I feel dumb saying it. whatever Zemo has cooked up is super soldiery. And then we've got this other guy, and I think that you probably are right, because you always are. This new Cap, he has to be a super soldier, because then those two super soldier storylines roll together, and then Bucky and Falcon collide. Okay. All right. Hopefully, yeah, it's like we'll get that in the second episode then.
Yeah.
Or at the end of the second episode, at least.
Hopefully. I mean, yeah, I think that this one is 10 episodes.
10? I thought
Where...
it was like something stupid like 6.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, like it's really short. But like this episode was like 50 minutes long.
Yeah, that's true. It is like longer episodes, where WandaVision was pretty short, because it's kind of that like TV formula where they follow those TV arcs and tropes. So like the 22, 23 minute episodes felt natural for WandaVision. This really felt... I was very satisfied actually watching this one. At the end, I was obviously like, oh, I need to know more. I'm so angry now with like the new Cap and betraying Sam. I was like, oh, those bastards. Like I need to watch next week now. But with WandaVision, it felt just so short, and there's so many unanswered questions with that show that every ending felt like a gut punch.
Yeah.
I was just like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, a gut punch that ended in like a big boss fight where they hurl CGI particles at each other, and it's like, why does everything have to end this way? It was so good, and then it ended as it normally does, and it's like, okay, well, it's like, oh yeah, I guess this is my punishment for forgetting that I'm watching a Marvel TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, can we also just say, it is insane that this is just what TV is now.
Right?
The budget,
get out of my brains.
the effects of this episode were insane. That was such a fun opening scene with Falcon flying through like the cliffs and the helicopter chases. Like that is a full like feature length budget action scene, and it's in the first episode of this TV show. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like, Disney is like, you thought you could sleep on me, but I've got some other plans for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was so fun.
When that was happening, I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this. I'm gonna love this so much. Our butt tally is so high now. Anyway. Yeah, you know what? I totally, up until now, I had totally forgotten about not that scene, but how it made me feel. Like the base.
It was. Sorry, go ahead.
The base jumpers doing
it's
that
so good
crazy shit. Like they didn't even have. Did they have parachutes, or were they the kind that were like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had parachutes. Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
yeah.
Around.
I honestly wonder how much of that was real, because I know that they have done some really crazy stuff with like the paragliders and those people with like the squirrel suits. Like they've strapped cameras to them and jumped out of planes to get the actual footage of them flying. So, and it looked very good.
Oh,
so
yeah. The part when they go through like that little tiny one person crack, I was like, okay, that's got to be CGI, or maybe it's not. But who knows? Who cares? That was amazing. You're right. Why does this level of production exist in a television show? This is what's going to set it apart as a Marvel television property. Is the fact that there's going to be all kinds of film production level chicanery that we get to be dazzled by, and I'm excited.
Yeah, because and the thing is too, like, they're practically mini movies in themselves. Like it's crazy the budget that goes into each episode. So I will say that, like, the reason why it looks like a movie is because they have the budget of a feature. So, but it's just so fun that we get to have like more time with these characters, with the TV aspect of it, because that long form content, I think, is helping us grow and evolve and love these characters. And like Wanda and Vision, right from the first episode, I was completely hooked with the characters. And it might be a little bit of a bias because I'm familiar with them already from the comics, but up until that point, I didn't really like care a whole lot about those two characters. Like nothing beforehand was really about them.
Yeah. And to your point about not caring about them, is that the only way that I did care about them is that I cared to see more from them and wasn't being that want wasn't being like reciprocated from the films. Yeah, because I wasn't acquainted with them at all. Just the imagery of them I was in love with. And to have watched the films, I rewatched the films just to see if maybe I had missed something about the way Marvel had written them in the MCU. And it's like, no, they had like a whole love affair behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Prior to this television show that was probably exciting and really cool, and we didn't get to see it. But we got this really great television show as a result. And now I'm reading comics to relive those magical memories that I was cheated.
Right. And I think the thing is too, is like they give us really cool, memorable moments with the characters, but that's all that they are. It's just these small little glimpses into who they are, where characters like Cap and Tony and Thor, like they have their own movies and we get to see their characters in depth. And these side characters, while very fun and do get character development in their own sense, it's always like the B plot. It's always kind of in the background. These things are happening. Even with Sam, like we don't really get to see him grow or change throughout these movies because he's not given anything to allow that to happen. But he does have fun things. Like he shows up in Ant-Man and they have the fight with Falcon and Ant-Man and him crawling through the like there's always these memorable moments and things that happen, but it's never enough for me to be like, I love Sam Wilson. He's such a great character. Like he's my favorite character in the MCU. But I really think that's going to change now with this show, and we're going to be able to get to see these characters. And I know for you it was a little stilted and weird because it felt like the dialogue was focused towards you, but I think seeing his life was really nice, and kind of seeing the heart of Sam with his sister and the family boat and that business in Louisiana of like them being fishermen and like cooking being a big part of their lives, and wanting to like create these meals and sell them on the weekends, and like just these like small little moments that really like make a character human rather than this action figure that's part of the Avengers like flying around. Yeah.
Because it's like and that's how they start the show. It's like here is this action figure. Isn't he cool? He is fallible. He can't fly. His wingspan doesn't allow him to fly through small spaces. But also, he owns half of his family's business because of the loss of his parents, and he needs to navigate the fact that business is failing with his sister. And that is another thing that I think that you had mentioned some things about earlier, and one that came up while we were talking about WandaVision is that like where did Vision get all this money to buy a house for Wanda? Like where Sam and his sister inside a bank asking for a loan to continue growing their family business, but the Falcon works for the military? I guess not.
He currently has contracts, I believe.
Okay.
I think that he said something in the bank about he has proof of government contracts, and I assume that is referring to different Avengers programs, and then this job that we saw him do at the beginning of the episode with the, you know, flying through the cliffs and everything. So
it's like,
yeah.
So you're telling me that you don't get paid for any of that work? Like, you just do it out of the kindness of your big Avenger heart? I don't think so. Like, this man has this man, this woman, they have people to take care of, and they got shit to do, and it's like, he's in a bank. And that was really weird for me too. It's just like the bank, the guy in the bank kind of like recognized him as an Avenger, so he was like taking selfies, but also had to tell them that he couldn't approve them for a loan.
Right.
There's just so many levels of like humanizing these characters for me that goes back to what you said earlier, just like 2 minutes ago, about how these may not, Bucky and Falcon may not be the characters that you came out of Endgame like wanting to love forever, but they very well might be. Like, they very well might become, because we get to see more. Maybe. Yeah. In a really good way. I mean, what does that say for Loki, who has had decent amounts of exposure? I guess he's just gonna be the fun.
Right. Yeah. Because we've definitely had a lot of time with Loki. I feel like we like him as a character. It's almost like he's just as much of a star as Thor is in the movies. Like, they're together for sure. So
even when he's not present, I feel his presence.
Right.
which is completely different, right? So it's like, we get all this great backstory. He'll be fine. These two, this one's the quiet sleeper that I think is going to be like, like the good nap, like that really good refreshing nap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I want to thank you for listening to Full Volume. Is that it?
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where it's going to go, but yeah. Thank you so much for listening to the Full Volume podcast. I want to thank Josh for filling in Harvey Brent's glorious boots.
Oh, well, thank you for thinking of me and having me. This is always fun to come on and talk about sleeping.
Hey, I mean, it was bound to come up sometime.
Sleep, yeah, naps. Cause it's an important part, maybe the most important part of my day.
If
I ever get to it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one thing that I think about immediately after I wake up.
Yeah, sometimes my days are planned around when I can nap.
Really? How often do you nap in the day?
Not often, especially now. I'm just like too busy.
Yeah.
Like, the beginning of the pandemic, it was freaking nap city. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I was like off because I couldn't work, so I could just nap whenever. But now I'm just like, I constantly have something going on.
3 podcasts. not 3, just 2.
Just the 2 podcasts, 2
work.
jobs, work, freelance every once in a while.
Well, every once in a while. That's key.
So maybe a nap is in order today, before, because at the time of us recording, we also are going to be watching the Snyder Cut later.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to need a nap before that 4-hour event.
Oh, I was going to say adventure. I am very worried for my liver, because we'll also be playing a Justice League drinking game.
Yes.
So join us on the Comic Book Syndicate Discord server.
Right.
because that's going to be a thing now. I'm worried. No, I'm not worried. I'm fine.
It's gonna be fine.
Put it out there though that there'll be levels. The level of moderation on my behalf will go down immediately, because I did not make the mixed drink. I just was like, I'm gonna settle on the Magnum of Girls' Night Out.
Ooh.
Peach mango.
I might have some GNO too. I might have to put that shit in the fridge.
You might have some?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You just keep one on standby?
Yeah, I don't drink a lot, but like when I go to the LCBO, I'll just grab a couple of things and then keep them for when I do need them, so I don't have to go out, especially now during pandy time. So
I love how you have like I guess everyone...
It's a cute nickname. It's like when you say pandemic, it's like a little shiver kind of runs in, like a pandy.
Yeah, it makes it sound like it has big eyes.
Right.
And cat ears.
Can't go, oh, it's a pandy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where is that coming from?
What?
Oh, it's my alarm to tell me to shut up. No. Let's see.
Oh.
Okay.
It's your alarm saying it's nap time.
Actually, that's my... Okay. This is... I feel called out. It's my alarm to wake me up in the afternoon in case I fell asleep. Yep, rings every day at 4. Okay.
Oh my god. You need to make your ringtone like the awakening words for Winter Soldier. Like your alarm just goes like streetcar, homecoming. Just like
I think I would...
Jolie's eyes, and then you hear like the screechy soundtrack of the Winter Soldier.
Telling everybody all my secrets. You're the one with the shield in your room. I don't know about that.
Oh yeah, that's in my backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, like how fitting. It's there every time we call in.
That's true, yeah.
It was like you were fated to do this.
Perfect.
Every time that Harvey Brent can't be here, you're
All right.
you're gonna have to tag. I'm gonna tag you in.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You can find more episodes of the Full Volume Podcast on thecomicbooksyndicate.com. I haven't worked out this spiel the way that Josh has. He has a really clean script, and I speak in gibberish. So
after 80 episodes of Full Volume, I think you'll get there.
after 80, okay. So after Loki, okay.
Yeah.
You can find us on Instagram, on Twitter, at Comic Book Syndicate and at Comic Syndicate respectively, hashtag Full Volume Pod, and you can send us great mail at fullvolumepod@gmail.com. Like I said earlier, the Comic Book Syndicate and all of our great content, including Josh's wonderful podcast, Here Comes the Spider-Cast, which he co-hosts with Comic Book Syndicate co-producer Mike L, is available at www.comicbooksyndicate.com. I guess I'll plug Flea Market Fantasy as well.
Oh yeah.
That's there. It's been great lately. I don't know, when's the last time you guested on an episode in there?
I haven't guessed it on Flea Market yet.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, shit. Oh, yeah, I think the last one for me was Amethyst, and it honestly, I was trying to turn it into a conversation about Big Brother Canada, so.
I haven't watched any episodes yet.
Get on it.
Yeah,
it's
I will.
Getting good. It's immediately Hunger Games.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I really should, especially since I work for that company. Apparently, I had no idea.
Chorus? Is it Chorus?
No, Boat Rocker.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Yeah,
well.
Boat Rocker.
Josh, just
I'll get it on it. I'll get on
my
it.
levels of disappointment were very low, and now they're very high.
Now they're high. Boy.
What else? What else do I usually say at the end? Oh, and as always, keep it turned up. Wait, to 11?
Spider friends.
No.
Oh, no?
No. Wait, let's do it here.
Oh my god.
What is the line anyway?
It's go for it.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Spider friends, go for it!